Hi everyone, I'm your Intro to Humanities 2 instructor, Melissa Fitzmaurice. I wanted to create this hybrid video text announcement today to talk about the Milestone 2 assignment expectations and also to share with you some of the resources available for completing the assignment. This content will be recorded and made available in an accessible alternative format upon request. If you require captioning, transcription, or other communication services to access this content, please contact the Disability Resource Center, the DRC, at drc@snhu.edu or by phone at 866-305-9430. I have also made a PDF transcript of this video announcement available at the bottom of the announcement page. First, here are some basic reminders about your Milestone 2 assignment. Your Milestone 2 assignment is due on Sunday, March 13th by 11:59 p.m. in your local time zone. You must use MLA format, or you can use APA if you are more comfortable, to format your paper. Your paper should be in Times New Roman font, size 12, double-spaced with 1-inch margins, and your final draft will be approximately 2 to 3 pages long. There are 4 major sections of your assignment. The first is an overview. This is essentially an introduction to your paper that identifies the works of art you are writing about. This includes all the identifying information: the artist's name, title of the work, date created, medium and size, and current location for both artworks. Most of you have already done this for your Milestone 1 proposal, so this should be an easy step. However, if you did this in list format for your Milestone 1 proposal, try to make this into a paragraph format rather than just a bulleted list. The second and third section of your Milestone 2 assignment is an analysis paragraph for each work. This should explain how each artwork represents the artistic movement it was a part of. What characteristics of that movement does it exhibit? You should include details from your observation of the work to support your ideas. The fourth section of your Milestone 2 assignment is a comparison of the 2 artworks. This should be done in 2 paragraphs, one addressing the similarities between the works and 1 paragraph addressing the differences. Try to explain why these similarities and differences occur. How do they relate to the different artistic movements and time periods of the artworks? Again, use details from your observation of the artworks and from any research you have done to support your ideas. You must use at least 2 appropriate sources for each artwork you are writing about. That means at least 4 appropriate sources total for the draft. I will discuss sources in more detail later in this video. You will submit your Milestone 2 assignment through SafeAssign. There is a link to submit your assignment in the Module 5 folder. To access the link, go to our course Blackboard page. Select Learning Modules on the left-hand side, and then scroll down to select the Module 5 folder. Click on the link that says 5-2 Final Project Milestone 2 Structured Draft. This will bring you to a page where you can submit your assignment. Once you have submitted your paper, SafeAssign will check your paper against a number of databases, including websites and their collection of papers submitted by other students. This is to find any places where your words match the words used in other sources exactly. This is one way in which we ensure academic integrity in this course. Keep in mind that not all matches are bad. If you used a quote from a source, SafeAssign will match it, but as long as you have properly cited your quote, there is no problem. I will always check the sections that SafeAssign marks as matching myself so that I know whether or not it is a properly cited quote, a common phrase, or something similar that does not indicate plagiarism or academic dishonesty. To submit your paper, scroll down to the Assignment Submission section. You should click Attach File, Browse My Computer, which will open up your computer folder so that you can select which file you would like to attach. double-click on your file to attach it. You can also leave me a comment if you would like by typing in the Add Comments text box. If you are ready to submit your draft, you can click on the blue Submit button in the lower right corner. If you are not ready to submit, you can save the draft to return to it later by clicking the gray Save Draft button. This way, you can return to the assignment at a later time to finish your submission. Saved drafts will not be graded. You must click the Submit button for your draft to be officially submitted and available for grading. As with your Milestone 1, your MindEdge module for this week includes a helpful section on the assignment. You can access this section by clicking the link for MindEdge Module 5. Go to Learning Modules, select Module 5, and then click on your Module 5 MindEdge link. Click on the navigation toolbar in the left side and scroll down to find the Milestone 2 heading. You can click through this section to find activities, examples, and information about the assignment. On the first page, you can also find a link for the guidelines and rubric document for Milestone 2. There is an explanation and activity to help you understand the expectations for visual analysis. You could also review the recording of the Week 4 webinar Wednesday on visual analysis. The links to the recording are available on the announcements page of our course website. At the bottom of the explanation of visual analysis, there's an interactive game to help you understand what constitutes analysis and what constitutes summary. Next, there is a section on formal and contextual criticism, which will define these terms for you. And an exercise to practice formal criticism. So I will type just a few words in here to show you what will happen. Once you practice writing a formal criticism, you can click Save, and MindEdge will reveal an example of formal criticism for you to use. So this might be useful for you to look at before you start writing your Milestone 2 draft. There's a similar section on contextual criticism where you can also type in your response and then view a sample response. There is a section to help you understand how to write your introductory and context paragraphs. The context paragraph is like the analysis paragraph. And you can click here and see examples from a student of your introductory and context paragraphs. MindEdge also gives you the chance to draft these paragraphs in text boxes right in the MindEdge module. Be sure to save it so that you do not lose all that work that you do, and you can reuse it when you're getting ready to submit your draft. Finally, there's a great section to help you organize your comparison and contrasting paragraphs. One of the best ways to start this off is not by writing, but by using a Venn diagram. I'm sure many of you have used those in your previous educational settings, high school and middle school and elementary school. And so a Venn diagram is where you draw two connecting circles, and each circle should align with one of the artworks that you've chosen. You should write things that your artworks have in common at the places where the two circles overlap, and then ways that they are different outside of that overlapping section. And this will really help you visualize how you can compare and contrast and talk about the similarities and differences in your Milestone 2 assignment. There's also a great section on outlining, and it provides you two examples of how to organize your compare and contrast section, point by point or topic by topic. You can read this section for more information. You can also draft your section and read a draft from another student. And more text boxes so that you can start working on your comparison and contrast section. Finally, there is an example of a completed Milestone 2 assignment. This is a great resource to look at before you write and submit your Milestone 2 assignment, and it also includes how this particular assignment would have been graded according to the rubric. So you can see an example of the document, and then all of the text. And if you click on the blue and yellow sections of the text, there will be an explanation of why this is either a good part of the assignment or how it could be improved. So this might be very useful for you as you're working on your draft. And of course, an example of a works cited page. Finding and using appropriate sources is an important writing skill to develop in this course. It can be difficult and confusing to decide what is an appropriate source and what is not. Here are some tips and tricks to help you find and judge sources. Wikipedia is never an appropriate source to use in scholarly writing. Wikipedia can be changed by anyone at any time, and we cannot know where the information is coming from. But not all online sources are bad. For example, you can use museum and gallery websites, such as the Metropolitan Museum website, and the Khan Academy website as sources for your paper. This is because the information on these sites comes from credible sources, people who are considered experts in their fields, in this case, art history. Usually, these sources will have a named author rather than an anonymous author. So, for example, on the Metropolitan Museum website, a useful page is the Heilbronn Timeline of Art History. Here you can find essays about various artistic movements, artists, and works of art. So for example, let's scroll down to look at something that we might recognize from our class. So we'll look at the Bauhaus. And so this is an essay, a general essay about the Bauhaus written by a scholar at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So if we scroll down, we can see at the bottom the name of the author. That's really important. This is not an anonymous submission. This is something that somebody is putting their name on as quality work. You can also see a citation here. And if you are interested or need further information, there are related primary and secondary essays, and also keywords that might be useful for you as you're working on your research. The Khan Academy website, khanacademy.org, you can click Subjects, scroll down to Arts and Humanities, and you'll find Art History, so you can find the general time period that you're working on. So let's say we're working on Expressionism to Pop Art. We will see a guide to Expressionism and Pop Art on the right-hand side. So for example, Fauvism and Matisse. And we can select their Beginner's Guide to Fauvism. And we have all of this information here. If we scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can see who this is written by, someone with a PhD in this field. So that way you know that this is a trustworthy source. In general, websites that end in .org, .edu, or .gov are acceptable to use. That is because, like Khan Academy and the Metropolitan Museum website, these kinds of sites have high standards for the content that they provide. Often, the content is written by an expert and then reviewed by other experts to ensure that it is informative and, most importantly, that it is supported by evidence and is not misleading. The Shapiro Library is also a great place to find sources for your papers. If you go to my.snhu.edu, you can find a link to the Shapiro Library on the right side of the page. The Shapiro Library has a search tool that will let you input keywords such as the artist's name, the title of the work, or even the artistic movement you are writing about. it says right here, enter search keywords. So let's say that we are writing about Rembrandt's The Night Watch. So I might input Rembrandt and click search. Once you have done this search, a great tool for you, because we are taking this class online, is to look on the left-hand side of the page and select Full Text Online. That option will make sure that any sources you find on the Shapiro Library website will be available to you in full text online, even if you cannot visit the physical library. You can also select the kind of source you would like to find. Journal articles and books are great sources. These are trustworthy sources because books and journal articles are screened by scholars before they are allowed to be published. Unlike on Wikipedia, these sources are read and critiqued by other experts who make sure that the source is of high quality before it is made available to you. The best part about using the Shapiro Library website is the citation tool. Once you have found a useful, trustworthy source, so let's find one that we like here. We'll just take the first one, hover over it, and it will open up a gray toolbox on the right-hand side. Here you can click a link to read the source online, and you can also click the cite link and select the citation format you are using, in this case MLA format, and it will give you the citation in MLA format for you to use on your Works Cited page. You can click email to email the source to yourself, and so that you don't have to write it down and so you don't forget it, or you can copy and paste the citation right into your draft. If you are citing sources that you did not find on the Shapiro Library website, there are a number of helpful guides available to you. On the Shapiro Library homepage, you can scroll down and select Citing Your Sources under the Resources tab. Then you can select MLA Style Guide. One of the most useful tools here is the MLA Citation Examples at the upper left side of the page. Here you can find sample citations for books, journal articles, and websites, among other sources. And so here you can see an explanation of what your citation should look like, and also a sample citation. If you still feel uncomfortable with citations or with finding sources, you can always email me at m.fitzmaurice@snhu.edu. You can also use the Ask a Librarian tool on the Shapiro Library website. It's at the upper right side of the library homepage, and if you click on it, it will open up a chat box with a librarian. This will allow you to live chat with a real Shapiro Library librarian who can help you find resources and sources for your paper. Another great resource is the Online Writing Center available to COCE students. If you scroll down on the my.snhu.edu page, you can find the SNHU Online Writing Center. Here you can find more information about research and citations, schedule a one-on-one session with a writing coach, or submit a paper for feedback from a writing coach. Make sure that you schedule appointments or submit papers for feedback early. You will want to have enough time to meet with a coach and use their feedback to edit your draft before it is due. You also have a great resource available in our online classroom, the Final Project Q&A discussion board. You can post parts of your paper here, or any questions that you have about the assignment, and get feedback from me, your instructor, and from your classmates. You are always welcome to contact me with any questions or concerns. I will have office hours on Tuesday and Thursday this week. You can find office hours information on the My Instructor page. You can also send drafts to me by Wednesday, March 9th at 11:59 p.m. If you send me your draft by email, and it does not have to be a complete draft, it can just be whatever you have written at that point, I will provide feedback so that you can edit your paper before submitting it. Please remember that your Milestone 2 assignment is due by Sunday, March 13th at 11:59 p.m. I'm really looking forward to reading your assignments and seeing the great ideas you've come up with about your 2 artworks. Please remember that you can always contact me in office hours, by email, or on the discussion board.